Until you learn how to get them out of their frame, what are they going to do? They're going to give you these objections over and over and over and over again. And I just don't like getting objections. It's just not fun. Anybody ever get a call or worse, an email? The email death. Oh, we really liked you and what you had to say, but now's not a good time for us. We'll get back to you when we're interested. Keep in touch. What are you going to do? What are you going to do now? You're going to call them back, throw some rebuttals, tell them why they're wrong. How often does that work? Oh, I mean, it works every once in a while. Numbers game, right? I don't want you to have to play that game. It's a really rough one. Not very fun. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Somebody be the prospect. You be the prospect? Yeah, what do you sell?
Health consulting.
Health consulting for what?
People that have low energy.
Oh, like a coaching program?
Yeah, like health coaching.
Like for entrepreneurs or something, or just anybody?
Mainly entrepreneurs.
Okay.
Low energy, brain fog, poor focus.
And what are the consequences if they don't purchase your program?
They won't have enough energy to dominate the business. We'll lose a lot of money and a lot of productivity.
Okay, and if they lose a lot of money and productivity, what's the consequences? Like what happens then?
Their business won't make as much money and won't perform as well.
And what happens to the business then when it doesn't perform?
Probably won't be around much longer.
And what happens then when it goes out of business?
They'll probably be busking outside the casino.
Oh, no, seriously. On a serious note, like what happens to the business owner when they go under? Yeah.
Not good things.
Like what? Tell me.
They'll be unemployed.
Okay. And they're not making any money? What happens to their family?
Can't provide for the family.
Yeah. It's much deeper than just fixing their health.
Yeah.
See how I could go 6 layers deeper than that? That's where the sale's made. Not up here about getting healthier.
Yeah.
It's the consequences of what can happen if they don't. It's the fear of getting them to feel and see what the future could look like if they don't solve that. It's a pain of fear. What are the two biggest emotional drivers that cause a human being to want to change? Pain and the fear of future pain. So if you can't help them relive their pain of their current situation, their past, and then have a fear of future pain, they feel no need to what? Change. There's that word change again. And if your prospect feels no need to change, that's why they give you objections, and that's why they don't buy from you, even though they basically raise their hand saying help. Do you have book calls? They book on your calendar?
Yeah.
So they're basically already raising their hand saying help?
Yeah.
Right? Should be easy. Okay. So you call me back and you're like, Yeah,
we really liked you and what you had to say, but decided now's not a good time for us, so we'll get back to you when we're ready, mate. Keep in touch.
Well, I'm not that cool, but thanks for the compliment. Can I ask you something? And you can always get back to me down the road. Can I ask you something?
Sure.
How can I communicate to you that you might be making a mistake without you getting upset with me? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. It's pretty hard to.
Yeah.
No, you cannot communicate to me that I might be making a mistake. What did I just do there? What was his frame? Now's not a good time. I'll do it down the road. Keep in touch. That's his frame. How do I take him out of that frame and reframe him to a new way of thinking? Now, what the question I just asked here, that's an APQ consequence question. What I'm doing here is I'm deframing him with this question. Does that make sense? I'm taking him out of the frame with this question. Did you see his reaction? And we're role playing. I can assure you, if you do this type of stuff outside of a role play, your prospects will not know what's going on. I can assure you, wait a minute, your tone sounds concerned. Did you learn that somewhere? They're just not going to know because they're emotionally involved. Now, you guys know because you see it. I'm showing you. If you had no idea and you just saw me do this, you'd have like, whoa, what just happened, okay? It's hard for you to come back and be like, no, you can't tell me. You're like, sure, what's going on? Now, why would I use a concern tone? What does a concern tone seed in his brain? How can I communicate to you that you might be making a mistake without you getting upset with me? That concern tone seeds what? Doubt. That I know something he doesn't know, and that triggers doubt in his brain where his guard comes down and he becomes more open. See, I'm deframing it. Hey guys, Jeremy Miner here. Look, a lot of you leave comments wanting me to help you sell more. So I started this process, okay? So then I'm gonna loop back around and I'm just going to make something up because this is a completely different industry. So I'm just going to make something up with you based on your industry. Okay, do that again. I'm going to do the whole thing, and I'm just going to loop back around and make something up. Say the thing again.
Yeah, sorry, mate. We had a look at it, and it's not the right thing for us right now. So we'll get back to you when it suits us. But thanks for your time.
Yeah, not a problem. Can I ask you something? Before, you always call me in a couple months. Can I ask you something before I head out?
Oh no, I don't really have time, mate. So
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't want to get you angry at me. I guess the question I had for you, and like I said, you always get back to me. How can I communicate to you that you might be making a mistake without you getting upset with me? Yeah. Because I'm concerned for you because, I mean, what happens if you don't do anything about this and you keep having these issues with your gut where you're having these like bowel movements during the day at work and then your boss starts getting upset with you? Like, how long is he going to give you before he lets you go?
not long.
Well, what's going to happen to you and your family at that point?
Yeah, I probably won't be able to provide for them.
Are you going to let that happen?
No.
I mean, how does your spouse feel about it, though? Like, does your spouse, like, does she want you to keep a hard time even performing at work? Like, does she want you to keep going?
All right, guys. So, I mean, has anybody ever listened to Jeremy Miner stuff before? Have you ever seen that guy before? So he's really good, right? He actually wrote he has a book. It's called like the little black book of questions. The system that he uses is called NEPQ. It's what it comes down to is like creating like an emotional connection to your prospect, right? And everything that he teaches is exactly what we teach, and it's all questions based. Okay. So what I wanted to do today, and we're recording this, right? So if you, well, one, there's plenty of people that are missing, but if they're not here, shoot them a message, right? Tell them to get on. Um, but I think we are still having issues with basic objections, right? And it's one of the most common mistakes that people make in the beginning of the business because they don't want to sound pushy, right? Or they don't want to, like, they really just don't want to deal with the word no is really what objections comes down to. And what I'm going to teach you here really quick is a way that you can get through that without ever feeling like you're sounding pushy or or like that you are just like, not accepting no for an answer, because most people don't actually tell you no. Most people deflect, right? Most people say, "Oh, let me get back to you. Let me talk to my spouse. Like now's just not a great time," right? None of those things were actually no, right? It's just an objection. It's not a condition, right? And we'll talk about the difference between those two. Um, So like an objection that you get is really just a stall, right? An objection is another word for a complaint. Now's not the right time. I don't feel like it. I don't want to do it, right? Like it's, but it's rarely no. Like think back, even if you've only been around for a short period of time, think back, how many of you have actually been told flat out no? Don't call me, don't talk to me, don't whatever. Put it in the chat. I mean, I'm because I'm curious, right? And it's important to actually talk about this because a lot of us, I think we tend to sort of like catastrophize what's actually happening. But in reality, even if you've been told no a couple of times, Jen, how many people have you talked to that resulted in a couple of no's? Dozens, if not hundreds by this point. And most of those people never actually said no. Most of them are probably flakes. They never followed through. They stopped responding. That doesn't mean no. Right. And one of the things I want to focus on really quick is I think somewhere along the lines of like getting people in and started and going, like teachable just never came to the forefront of that. So I'm going to show you guys that first, just so you guys know like where to go and go get all this stuff, because it's not a secret, right? This is out there. It's for everybody. And so this is the homepage. This is teachable. This is what it looks like. if you've never come here before and you've never registered, I just put it in Telegram, so go click it, register. It's just for us. Please don't share it with anybody. All right. But then when you get in, here we go. When you get in, you should have a new associate orientation, overcoming objections, mastering the kitchen table, mastering prospecting, mastering recruiting. All of those should be in there for you, right? And so like you can see, right, you got to just go register yourself. And then when you jump in, right, especially for the new agents, right? When you come in, guys, this is sort of like the the second piece of your orientation that you should be kind of working your way through, right? So download the app, stay connected, schedule your class, set your follow-up. All of these things are sort of like walking the dog for you, right? There's some background, like, company information. This is Andy's orientation video. And then what does it take you straight into, right? Understanding appointment setting. A big part of learning appointment setting, right, is actually overcoming objections. Okay. There's appointment setting scripts that are in here. Look, there's 8 pages of scripts. So those are all here for you, like all kinds of different appointments and everything that you need there. And then let me jump back out of this. Because what we're actually going to talk about today, right? And you can please like, go through that. If you haven't gone through this, or if it's been a minute, go back through, right? But what we're talking about today is overcoming objections. There's a whole script in here. The first 3 or 4 pages is sort of like academic. It's teaching you about actually overcoming objections, sort of like the psychology of some of that, right? Time spent. And then it goes into boom, life insurance objections. So this is like on a kitchen table appointment, recruiting objections. There's a lot of those, right? Mortgages, right? Most of us aren't dealing with those yet, but those are in there in case you need them. Securities objections, right? For those of you that are securities licensed. And then for some reason, this one doesn't have like the download at the bottom like the appointment setting script does. I'm gonna talk to Rick and see if we can get that downloadable because there's no way for right now to actually like download this. Um, but there used to be, so I don't know what's going on with that. Okay. So overcoming objections, I have a presentation that I've used for this, and this is very, very basic, right? As far as like overcoming objections, guys, whenever you get an objection, the first thing that should be going through your head is affirm, answer, close. Affirm puts you on the same side of the fence as the person, right? I mean, hey Noah, like that sounds great. I just need to talk to Melissa first, and then we'll get back to you. Hey, Angela, listen, I totally understand. I want you to talk to Melissa first, right? Now we're on the same side of the fence, right? I always talk to my spouse first before we do things, right? Now we're on the same side of the fence. Like, but can I ask you a question? Right? Get a yes, right? You're gonna find, guys, that the process is truly built around affirm, answer, close, meaning get on the same side of the fence, get a small yes, and then right back into the same sort of like question process that you were in. And so getting on the same side of the fence as them is repeating back what they said, but just like kind of rephrasing it, right? Hey, listen, I totally understand, right? I'm on the same side of the fence, and I want you to do that because I do that too, is really the way to think about it. And regardless of what the objection is, that's the way to think about it. And then, but can I ask you a question? Get a yes, right? And then right back into it, right? Regardless of what it is. So if they wanted to talk to their spouse first, right? And this is in here. I need to talk to my spouse, right? Oh, it doesn't have the actual thing in here. I need to talk to my spouse. Hey, listen, I totally want you to do that, and I get it, I understand. But can I ask you a question really quick? See how my tone changes, right? Kind of come down, like draw the defenses down a little bit. They're gonna say yes, right? Hey, listen, I totally want you to talk to your spouse, but can I ask you a question real quick? Yeah, of course. Listen, let's be honest. Do you probably know their schedule just as well as they do, if not better? Like if we're being honest. And that's a coin toss question, right? Most people will say, yeah, because I'm in charge of the everything. I run everything. I know, where they're going to be, what they're going to be doing. Or it's going to be like complete opposite, and they're going to say, I mean, yeah, it's sort of, but they work all hours, they're on call, they do this, they do that. But that's okay, right? Because regardless of what answer you get, you can use just generally. And I'm just going to skip forward here really quick. Oh, there we go. Right. Hey, listen, I totally understand that, but like just generally on like a normal week when their schedule is kind of like what you would expect it to be, when would be better? Like weekdays or weekends? And you just create a bigger funnel, right? You start at the top of the funnel. Weekdays or weekends, guys. These are what we call yes questions, right? And then boom, right? They're gonna pick one, right? Put it in the Zoom chat. If I asked you right now, like we're on an appointment or we're setting and we're talking, and I said, hey, just generally, what works better for you, weekdays or weekends? What would you say for you and your spouse? Weekends, perfect. Hey, so listen, I mean, Saturday or Sunday? We started here. We're weekdays to weekends, Saturday or Sunday. Sunday, Angela, perfect. I mean, do you want to do like afternoon, like after church, or like evening, like after supper? Right? Just throw like generic basic times out there, like for when people are going to generally not be busy, right? You can base it off of your own sort of like Sunday, right? But in general, people are probably chilling around, 2 to 4 on Sunday, and then again from like 6:30 to 8, if I had to guess, right? If I had to guess. Evening, perfect. So like what would be better for you? Like 6 or 7 on Sunday, just generally. 7. Hey, perfect. Listen, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pencil this in for 7 on Sunday. That way we can hold that spot. If something changes, though, just give me a call and we'll move it. But unless I hear from you, right, we'll see you guys Sunday at 7. We'll get you taken care of, right? We'll go over everything and we'll go on from there. Sound good? Perfect. Hey, listen, do me a favor, Angela, put that in your calendar because if you're anything like me, if it's not in your calendar, if it's not in my calendar, it doesn't exist. Am I right? Awesome. So put that in your calendar. If I don't hear from you, right? What time will I see you on Sunday? And then let them answer, right? Let them answer, right? That's get that confirmation because if they're saying it, it's sinking into their brain even more. Okay. So that process though, guys, do you think we just did that? No, it does not actually, Ellen, right? Because it really doesn't. In reality, it doesn't. Right? In reality, it doesn't because you're getting it on the calendar. They're telling you generally when is going to be a good time for them, no matter what. And once it's on the calendar, if people are actually doing what they say they're going to be doing and they're putting it in their calendar, it it's an appointment, right? Most people keep appointments, right? And when they don't, you have a reason to actually follow up now, right? Or for some reason if they no showed, right? You you following up with them is based on something that was scheduled. Does that make sense? Whereas if you never got them on the calendar in the first place, and now you're sending them a text or calling them, now you kind of are moving into that area of like that just like annoying like follow-up person, right? But if you set the appointment, you have a reason to get back. And you've seen me do this on a couple of appointments recently, right? Right. They like we're rescheduling because we didn't have the spouses there. They ended up moving the appointment, right? But we had a reason to get back together. And generally, when you're on an appointment with someone and we have to schedule a follow-up, guys, the best thing to do is that same day and time schedule it like a week out, right? Now, if they're gathering like financial statements or something like that, you might want to give them a week, 2 weeks. But generally, a week out is usually pretty safe for most people. But it just gives you a touch point and it gives you a reason to be having a conversation with someone, right? And that's how you avoid kind of feeling like that like annoying friend that's asking questions and that sort of thing. Because if you never get them on the calendar, like if you can't just generally get someone to set an appointment, like the odds later of getting them to come back to it, probably worse than a coin toss, right? But having that first touch point, that first, even if it's just that first meeting is critical. Okay. And so that's just generally. And in reality, guys, there's only like a few actual like objections that you're going to get like upfront, right? I need to talk to my spouse. That's one, right? I'm too busy. And that can either be for a client appointment or like the recruiting side of things. But if someone's reaching out to you because like if they're responding to a social media post about the opportunity, but then they say they're too busy, well, they're lying about something, right? Because if they were too busy, but they were reaching out for information, well, are you just wasting my time? Like, if they say they're too busy after reaching out for information, then they're lying about something is really the main takeaway from that. If you're calling someone and having a conversation about setting up some training, right? And they're too busy, you say, "Hey, listen, I totally get it, right? We're all super busy. You don't think I'm just going to waste your time, do you? Think about it. If I called you and you said you were busy and I said, "Hey, listen, I totally get it, Kurt. You don't think I would waste your time, do you?" I mean, what would you say? And these are just some of like the actual like emotional like connection type questions, right? Because like if you don't think I'm going to waste your time, listen, give me 20 minutes and I'll run through this super quick. And if you can't use any of it and none of it makes sense, I'll never ask you again. Is that fair? Awesome. So listen, as far as us getting together, it's on Zoom. It's pretty simple. When can you give me 20 minutes? Like today or tomorrow? And because like don't just leave it there, right? Don't leave it open-ended. When can you give me 20 minutes? Like today or tomorrow? Guys, listen, you can't tell me that somebody doesn't have 20 minutes. That's impossible. We all probably waste an hour and 20 minutes a day just like flicking our phone, scrolling on something, right? I mean, truthfully, 20 minutes is nothing. 20 minutes is less than one episode of like a random Netflix show, like way less. Trust me, they got 20 minutes. And I'll be completely honest, right? Like in about 20 to 30 minutes, if they're not moving forward on the client side and we're like not connecting and we're not having like good conversation, we're probably done. But that's okay because there's two types of appointments, right? There's ones where you earn and ones where you learn. Either way, Either way, you got in front of somebody, you showed them what you do, you've planted a seed, and you've opened the door for referrals down the road, right? Hey, Ellen, listen, I totally get it, right? You don't need anything that we do right now. You guys are all set, and I'm super happy for you. But let's be honest, right? You probably saw a ton of value in what Jen's going to be doing, right? With all of the insurance and the investments and how we help people get out of debt. Like you saw a ton of value in that. Am I right? Right? I'm pulling the yes out of them, right? Because now they've said that yes, right? Hey, listen, I love that. Would you do me a favor? Actually, like, would you do Jen a favor? Like the person that we're sitting on the appointment for, would would you just send her like five people that she should show this to? Like you probably like I know you guys are all set, right? You pay them a compliment again, but like who do you know that this would be super valuable for? Who do you know that needs to hear this? And they might have like two, three, four, five names right off the top of their head. They might go, "Oh man, I don't know. I just have to think about that." That's probably your more general answer. But say, "Hey, listen, I totally get it. Do me a favor, think about it, and then I'll have Jen follow, and then Jen will follow back up with you like later tonight to get those names. Is that fair?" Right? Now I have a verbal commitment for essentially a planned like connection of an appointment. It's not an appointment, right? It's not on the calendar, but it's a verbal commitment. Because now, when Jen texts her later or calls her later and says, "Hey, Ellen, so glad we were able to sit down, right? Who did you come up with that we should show this to?" Ellen's gonna look at her phone and she's gonna think, "Dang it. I told her I was gonna give her 5 names, right? But you have to get the verbal commitment, guys. You have to. Okay. So affirm, answer, close, right? Wait for answer is another big one. Let me see what else is in this. Just generally. This isn't what I wanted. Okay, not this. Not this. But just generally, right? So JG, just generally, and wait for answer are two key things that you have to learn, right? And let me biggie size this here really quick so we can kind of see this a little bit better. It won't let me do it bigger. Okay. Guys, understanding that like asking good questions is key in this business. I will find a way to get this out to you. I don't care if I have to just like take screenshots of it and build it into a new PDF, but I will get it to you guys. But understanding like the tie down questions, right? And so that's where it says like tie down, like right in here. This is key. Okay. Closing questions and then an alternate of a choice. We always want to use something that's going to be yes, yes, right? If I ask you a question that has a yes answer, the odds of you telling me yes are generally about 100%. Think about it. If I say, hey, I mean, just generally for you, like when would be better for us to go get ice cream, like today or tomorrow? You're not going to say, you're not going to say October. You're going to say today or tomorrow, right? Or you're going to say, oh man, I don't know. I'm on a diet. I can't do ice cream right now. Like, hey, no worries, right? Kurt, we'll get some froyo, man. It's all good, right? There's something sugar free. But as far as is like getting that, right? When would be better, like today or tomorrow? That's like that alternative choice, right? And then like trust me, there's so much that goes into being very, very good at this. And it's just a comfort thing of having said the words out loud when someone gives you the objection. This is not a skill that you can just read and master. This is not a skill that you can just sort of like hypothetically like conceptualize and be good at. No, you have to speak out loud. You have to say the words out loud because that's the only way that it's going to burn into your brain as far as being quick with being able to respond to the objection, right? And so here's some more that are in here. Why is this not going for it? Right? So steps to overcoming objections, guys. Hear somebody out. We have two ears and one mouth. Some of us need to practice that 2-to-1 ratio a little bit more when we're sitting on appointments, right? And then feed it back. That's the affirm side. Hey, listen, I hear what you're saying, but can I ask you a question? I totally agree. That makes a ton of sense, right? Questioning the importance. This is where, like, if you listen to any of Jeremy Miner stuff or any of the like advanced level sales training, they call this like finding the client's pain, right? Unpacking the pain of what's going on. And you have to unpack the pain in a lot of situations before you can solve it. And you need the client to tell you what that pain point is. Does that make sense? Because if the client says it's, guys, it's true, at least to them. If I say it and they didn't say it, we go back to the idea that if I'm telling, I'm selling. And we don't really want to be in that situation. We want to be very good at sales without selling anything. And I know that sounds crazy, but if you've been around for a minute, you get it, right? Because we show, we don't sell. When you show enough value, guys, the client is going to move forward. And that's really the way to think about this, okay? So answering the concern and then confirming the answer, right? And then you have to change the gear to get them into moving forward into some sort of like action taking step, right? And here's how all of those like turnaround statements like happen down here, right? Hey, I can understand how you feel, John, right? Hey, I can appreciate how you feel that, Mary, right? Hey, that makes total sense. Whatever that looks like, right? And then move that in. And it's truly your conviction, guys, that is going to make or break this business. And so that's where we talk about like, hey, convince people. And like once you are comfortable and you feel like convicted about this, right? You're going to be fine. So look, there's tons of actual like individual objections with basic scripts in here. But again, you can read these all day, but you need to practice them out loud. Okay, you need to practice them out loud. There's a ton of them in here, a ton, right? There's recruiting ones in here as well, right? A lot of the recruiting ones are always going to like revolve around money. Now, you can tell that these are old because the IBA fee used to be 199. Now, even without a discount, it's 124, and right now it's 74, right? So, like, don't don't think that the 124 is too much, guys, because years ago it was 199 and there was no field training bonus. You just got the 199 back once you got licensed, right? Now you can earn hundreds more. Okay. Um, I'm gonna escape out of this because I want you to see this too, right? Because reading is one thing, but listening and hearing it is a complete, like, different aspect of it. Look, every single one of these is named, right? I want to shop around. I can't afford it right now. These are all going to be like life insurance ones, right? This is some of the recruiting one. I don't have the 199. This is one of those triangle pyramid type things. I'm not into sales. Guys, there are so many in here. Look at this. It just keeps going. And that's just part one. Look at this. There's so much, right? There's so much. I could never cover all of that in like 20 minutes. One that I'm going to cover right now, I'm going to do it specifically for Serena because she had this objection yesterday or the day before and knows how to close it, but then didn't close it. But she jumped off. And so this will be like the recording for her afterwards. She has an appointment at 2. Angela, can you be with me really quick? And
Yeah.
okay. So the scenario was yesterday, Serena was on a recruiting appointment and the girl was going to have the money today, right? But Serena didn't close it. Now, just so you guys know, if somebody doesn't have the money like Monday, but they're going to be ready to go Tuesday, the money's going to be in the account. You can take the IBA, but instead of putting in like a debit or credit card for the IBA fee, you can just use banking info. The banking info will take anywhere from 72 to 96 hours to completely process and actually draw from the client's account. And so if you do it that way, that lets you get their rep ID, their agent number, you can get them registered, you can get them into class. The money just actually physically isn't going to come out of their account for about 3 days at least, right? And so that's really the way to do that and move forward. Okay. So what I'm going to do really quick is so Angela, I'll start with like, hey, besides the $74, right? Any reason you want to get started? So we've done everything. She's ready to go, right? She's on board. She wants to get going. So I mean, hey, Angela, so as far as this getting going, besides the $74, any reason that you wouldn't want to get started today?
No, it's really just I don't have the money for a couple days.
Hey, listen, that's totally fine. I get it. And this is usually what happens around payday, right? So if you're recruiting somebody on like a Wednesday, they're going to say like Friday. Say, hey, listen, Angela, that's totally fine. We can still get you all set up, get you enrolled in your course and your curriculum, get your secret agent number. We'll just use the checking account info that you wanted to use for your direct deposit, and the money will not come out of your account for at least 3 days. It has to go through like a whole verification process and everything. Sound good?
Yeah,
Awesome. Listen, hey, so what are you most excited about?
being able to work around my kid's schedule.
Awesome. Hey, listen, we'll pull up and I'm like pulling up the IBA like right now, right? I don't introduce any other complications. I don't introduce anything weird. I just say, hey, we can do this, and the money won't come out for like 3 days. So think about this, right? We've isolated the objection. And that's what that question that I just asked right before that. Aside from the $74 right now, any reason that you wouldn't want to get started making some extra money?
No.
If she says no, there's literally no other objection on the table. And now I'm going to solve that problem, right? Hey, perfect. Listen, as far as the $74, we don't need that today. We can just use your banking info that we were going to use for your direct deposit anyway. Make sense?
Yep.
Perfect. The money will not be out of your account for at least 3 days. We got plenty of time. Okay. And then from there, we'll still get you into your course. Right now, I'm stacking the good, right? We'll get you into your course early. We'll get you going. Heck, you might even finish the course. Like if you're fast, you might even finish the course before the money comes out of your account. How crazy would that be?
That would be cool.
Hey, you could do it, right? You could do it. And it's true. Guys, the record I've had ever was a dude finish from like from IBA to taking his exam was 36 hours. It's doable. It's totally doable. It's way faster than I did it, right? But it's doable. And so that's,
And
but
to add on to Noah's,
go
to
ahead.
add on to yours real quick, Noah, with that is when you're doing the banking with them and you're waiting, on top of how Noah said, we're getting them registered for their course and getting them going, by the time that money comes out, they'll have already had orientation and will be even more excited because orientation happens within the first 24 to 48 hours.
Yep. Yeah, you're going to have
And
another
so
touch point. You're going to be back together. You're going to be confirming that they're in their course, that they're moving forward. They've watched the orientation video with Andy. They're logged into their app. They see the $50 bonus. Heck, they'll have a $50 bonus banked before any money comes out of their account.
yeah.
Crazy, right? And so now, generally, I don't want you guys taking IBAs with banking info because it'll take 3 to 4 days for that recruit credit to process for the person that you recruited them to, right? But if the situation that you're in is don't recruit them or just use the banking info, use the freaking banking info, right? Easy, easy. That was the big one because I've heard like I've been seeing a lot lately of, oh well, they didn't have the money today, they didn't have the money. Like, okay, well they either don't have the money or they don't have it today. Which one is it? Because if they don't have it today, but they're going to have it in a few days, just use the checking account info.
And if they don't have it within that 2 to 3 day window that Noah's talking about, say they say, "Oh, I get paid next Thursday." Rebook them on the calendar for that day that they're going to have the money. Walk away from the meeting with something, guys. They
Yeah.
don't have it this week. They're going to have it next Thursday on payday. Perfect. I'm pulling up my calendar. Great. Next Thursday is the 7th. You want to do the same time for you and have it rebooked.
Yep. Always rebook it, get them back on the calendar. And you can also, at that point, you can fill out the entire IBA and just say, and at the bottom, there's going to be a submit button and a save for later button. Just hit save for later. That way now it's completely done, right? And you're good. And here's the other thing. If they're going to come back in like a day or two, right? Get them to post for you. Get them to put an opportunity post up. If they're going to come back in a week from now, get them to put an opportunity post up, especially if they start seeing some serious traction on that thing. You'd be surprised how quick they'll come up with 74 bucks versus waiting, right? Always leave with something, right? Even if they're like, oh, I'm not sure. Hey, listen, I totally get that. But I mean, you watched the financial house video and you said you need life insurance, retirement, investment, right? You need all of these different things. We can at least help you on the client side and take care of those things that you wanted. Sound good? Right. And that's the other reason that the financial house video exists, guys, right? One, it educates clients. So that one is huge. Two, it provides you some sort of like lead generation funnel on the backside because, well, heck, if somebody watches the video and answers the questions, it tells me exactly what they wanted. And if they pick path one, it means blueprint. It generally tells me they have nothing. If they pick path two or three and they want some sort of like comparison or checkup, well, that means they value what we do because they've already got products and they want to actually shop it around. Either way, it's a win. Either way, it's a win, guys, right? And so, like, that's the importance of having sending them the financial house video, whether it's a recruiting appointment, whether it's a client appointment, it doesn't matter, right? Send that thing. Send that thing. And if you're not a trainer, you don't get like the actual like email results from that specific link, but I get the results and I'll send them out to whomever like is the referral on there. Okay. That was 30 minutes, right? Any questions on like other objections that you guys have been getting that you're unsure how to handle or anything, right? Everything's fair game right now. Anything that you guys have had like come up, they're like, oh, I wasn't sure how to deal with that, or I feel like I thought I knew how to deal with it, but I fumbled it. Like anything? No?
Well, I've just noticed with the McDill spouses, if I ever respond in there and then they come back, I'll try to do the script. And then what Andy says is just keep posting the next thing, no matter what they say.
Mhm.
And this particular group of ladies is just like, they won't stop asking, just tell me the name of the company or I'm not going to make the appointment.
Yeah.
And so I do the thing where I say, it's Primerica, and here's some links you can look up and see our awards and our recognitions. So what's better for you tomorrow or the next day? This is a scam. I'm not doing this. And then we go back into the scam talk. And then I'm like, oh, I've been doing it a year and I've had, great experience. I'd love to tell you more about it. Would you be willing just to give me 20 minutes? 30? No, we've already done our research. We're not interested. And it's happened at least 8 or 10 times with this group of people. So I'm just finding that if you don't know them personally, this is what you run into.
Yeah. No, and that's a great point, honestly, because that goes back to the idea, or like not the idea, but that goes back to why a hot and warm market approach
Yeah,
is the most important thing, right? Because that's where you have that, at least that initial like baseline of trust, right?
right.
But you always got to remember too, like broken skeptical will generally stay that way, right? If they're skeptical of everything that comes along, the odds of them actually doing anything are slim, right? If they won't even sit down and listen, are they open to it?
Nope.
No. And if they're not open to it, there's nothing you can do, right? And that goes for anything. And in those situations, Jen, yeah, I mean the next script is almost always the right answer, but yeah, like there are times when you're gonna have to like actually answer the specific question, right? And simply in order to keep moving into like the next thing. But guys, remember, a messenger chat, a text thread, whatever, all that is a feeding mechanism to get someone to an appointment. That's
You can
not,
always tell them too, Jen. Hey, I love you have so many questions. Write them all down. When we get together to meet, I'd love to answer all of them for you. Tell
yeah,
them, bring all the questions they have to the meeting. So you're not doing the back and forth. I've done that before in meetings, and I've had people come with a million questions. But hey, we got together.
yeah. Like just think about it like this, guys. If you were actually interviewing for a job position, would you ever pepper the person that was essentially like setting up your interview with a bunch of questions before you got to the interview? No, you
I
wouldn't.
think that'd be
So,
rude. And I don't know why other people don't think that's rude.
oh, it's super rude, right? Like it's super rude, but that's where people's minds go, right? They want to get all the information and then, right? But won't at least just have a conversation. And so, I mean, honestly, Jen, in that situation, I would say like that market is really just like not open to it, and it's almost not worth it without someone outside of you that you're able to sit down with and show value to, probably from the client side, and then get some sort of like testimonial back, right? That's where I would look. Like I would go back to the few clients that we've sat with locally, right? And ask them to make a post for you and just make a client testimonial, right? And then and then go from there, because then that way you can at least put some like credibility like out in the world, because that's really what it comes down to, guys, right? You need some hot market friends and family to sit down and show this to. You need a couple of them to move forward, and then from there you need them to sing your praise. And that's where the credibility side of things comes from, and then that's how it starts to like multiply and duplicate out, right? But in the beginning, hey, listen, I got to get some training in, right? As far as us getting together, when would be better? Like today or tomorrow? Tomorrow or the next day? Weekdays or weekends, right? Please, please, please do not call people to set appointments and ask them to sit down and look at life insurance, because that's not what, one, that's not the only thing we do, right? And then two, like uh it's just not, it's not going to convert, right? But if you ask someone for help, some help training, then yeah, that's generally right. Somebody's always going to say yes to that on some level. The same post, Ellen, for the opportunity post, we do generally use the same post, yeah. Um, but just
Is that what you would ask people to repost for you?
mm, two sides of things that were what I was talking about there, right? Was
Okay.
what I was saying for Jen was just having someone make a like actual like genuine client referral post, right? Like, hey, I met Jen, I was her, pest control guy, and she, showed me this and retirement and life insurance and was able to take care of all those things, right? Super simple, like completely worked around my schedule. If you need help with anything, financial related, I would call her, have her put, name, contact, like that's a client referral post, right? Hey, I had this problem. Hey, they fixed it. It was great. I loved it. You should try it, right? That's a client referral post. Getting someone like, but that's like for like product, right? If you want to have more like lead generation from the recruiting side, just get people to share your actual post, right? That's the easy button because that's literally takes like 5 seconds. And the easiest way to have someone share your post for you guys is to send your post in a message, right? Let me show you what I mean by that. And so if you're looking for someone to share a post for you, right, go to Facebook and whatever post that you want shared, right? Like for example, like let's say I was going to have somebody share, Paige's post, right? If I see this little whoop, right, I can send it to somebody in a message, right? I can send it to Melissa and then say, hey, do me a favor, can you share this? How easy is that, right? That's the easiest way you're going to get someone to share your post, right? If you think about removing the steps required, right? Make it the lowest like brain cell requirement task ever, people are more likely to do it. Does it take less than 4 seconds? Can you hold their attention for longer than a piece of toast? I mean, I don't know how long, I don't know how dark you like your toast, but I mean, we're talking what, less than 60 seconds?
People
That,
don't like to work, guys. They want it done for them. So if we
that-
can make it as simple as possible, they'll
yep.
do it.
And that's the kind of the mindset that you have to think about, right? It's lowest common denominator. Like, hey, I I love you, but like the amount of brain cells that we're looking at right now in terms of like how much we want them to, have to work, right? Is key. So Ellen, for you, right? Like one, your post is not public, right? Because it's set for friends only. So even if it does get shared right now, it's not shareable. Like, see how I can't share it? There's no little arrow here. So that needs to be public. I would highly recommend you put a personal picture up so people know that it's you. I would edit this up here at the top and write something at the top says, "Hey guys, yes, this is me. I'm picking up some financial licensing on the side," right? And then down here, I would do at highlight. See how this pops up like that? And then it turns into like a hyperlink. You can do that 3 times a week. So I don't know, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, right? Don't have like if you've done it a couple of times and like the last few comments are just highlight, 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 I would go back and delete the old ones. That way it doesn't look just like brrr, like a bunch of whole like at highlights and nothing's coming from it, right? But yeah, get this thing public, get a picture up there, put something personal at the top, and then go get 10, 20 shares. And that's where that thing's going to start sort of like exploding. And I know we're getting out of the objection side of things, right? But if you're sitting at 187 friends, one relatively small market, right? So you're gonna have a small sample size. So you would really be expecting a small response, right? You can't have 1,000 comments starting with 187 friends, especially when it's not public. Roughly 5% of the people that are even your Facebook friends are even going to see something that you post. 5 to 8, right? So if you go back and you look at response rates on anything that you've posted, 4, right? 5. This is not even pinned, right? So we need to pin this, right? So edit it so it's pinned, stays at the top. This thing's getting buried already, so that's going to reduce responses as well. Your social media by itself, right? Your business, your calling card, if you're thinking about it this way, is generally relatively like low activity, right? So something that you post, the fact that your opportunity post right now has gotten the amount of response that it did, even without a picture, like that's the most response that anything that you've posted recently has had. Imagine how much better it's going to be when you put a picture, you pin it, and then you put some like personalized verbiage at the top. It's going to change, right? It's going to be huge. And that goes for everybody, guys. Like if
Yeah,
you
no, I considered doing something with the personal, just to let people know that I hadn't been hacked or anything. But
Mhm.
I thought during the orientation I was told not to do that, to just use this. So
No,
that's
no,
what I
no.
did.
No, yeah, you definitely use a picture. So like keep the verbiage the same below it, but then above that, right? Like you can definitely put some sort of personal thing there.
Okay.
Page, like it's cute baby, right? But it doesn't,
Mhm.
the cute baby doesn't necessarily translate into professional business, right? So that's something that we would definitely want to look at and change. Um, Filters like this, guys, not recommended. I do not recommend it, right? Like any kind of filter, I would not use it, right? Kurt's probably got one of the best profile photos. Kurt, I don't know if you used AI for that, but dude, like whatever you did, it worked, right? It's good. It's definitely good. But it looks professional, right? That's really what you want to convey. And if you go back and you kind of look through your social media and you're like, "Ugh, like I don't know if I would want that on my like agent's page or like I don't know if I would, right? Go back and edit the privacy to where it's just you. Like if it's something that you're really like passionate about, but you're not sure about the rest of the world and how they're going to take it, edit the privacy to just you. That way you keep it, you don't lose it, right? If you're sharing recipes and stuff like that all the time, quit doing that. Just put it into a folder. Put like make a collection and then save it over there. You don't have to put it on your page every day, right? Because you just kind of wear people out. We don't want that, right? So family business is really the way like the like social media algorithm should be working. You don't have to post every day. Please, especially don't post every day about like life insurance and this and that, right? Guys, you just wear people out and they're gonna unfollow you and they're not gonna be interested, right? So that's one of the biggest tips when it comes to like activity. Your post should be up, right? It's public. That way it can be shared. It needs to be pinned. That way it stays at the top and doesn't get buried, right? The picture that you're going to use should be professional, right? You seeing the alliteration with the P's, right? It's it's all related. The more professional, the better. And it like look, it doesn't have to be some like expensive like photo shoot. If you just take like a nice selfie with some good lighting with a pretty solid background, right? It's perfect. It's fine. It doesn't have to be fancy, right? But it has to be deliberate. But all right, guys, that's what I've got for right now. We've got like the training side is going to be great. Lucasi's going to run, Lucasi's running tonight. She's going to talk about the actual like regional vice president contract and kind of show you the power of what that can be. So please, please, please do not miss that. Right, plug in. That'll be recorded as well. But right, let's be honest. How many people actually go back and watch the recordings? Not so many. Not so many. Um, so listen, I'm around until about 4:30. Evan's got his last lacrosse game tonight. Well, I don't think they're gonna win. That's why I keep saying their last lacrosse game. The team they're playing is like really good. But it could be their last one. So I will be there tonight. I'm still gonna plug into the meeting, right? I'm gonna bring my AirPods. I'm gonna listen in the stands. Right? Hey, winners never miss a meeting is the way we think about that. All right. So cool. I'll get this recording out. I'll put it out there for everybody else. But yeah, guys, like plug into that and let's go. We're at like 9,000 by 14 recruits for the month. Friday's month end. I would love to finish at 20 by 20. That's the goal. That's the real goal. Because if we finish by 20 by 20, that means some of you like within the base shop, right? We add another like $2,000 in bonus money. Big time. That's huge. That's huge. All right, guys. Have a good night. I'm around if you need me. Text me. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.